Welcome! Imagine there is a small waterway on the world map that is no more than 34 kilometers wide. And yet, it can at any moment shake the entire global economy as we are seeing now. This place is the Strait of Hormuz, located between Iran and the Sultanate of Oman, and it is the main maritime gateway through which oil and gas supplies exit from the Arabian Gulf to global markets. Every day, giant energy tankers pass through this strait carrying between 17 and 20 million barrels of oil, which is nearly 1/5 of the oil supplies consumed by the world daily. In addition to a large portion of the liquefied natural gas trade that many countries in Europe and Asia rely on. That is why the Strait of Hormuz is not seen as just an ordinary maritime passage, but rather as one of the most important strategic choke points in the global energy system. When military tensions rise in this region, financial markets in New York, London, and Frankfurt immediately begin to react because investors realize that any disruption in this passage could lead to a sudden shortage in the global energy supply. And since oil prices are determined globally, not locally, any decrease in supply is immediately reflected in prices everywhere, whether the oil is produced in the United States or in the Middle East. For this reason, a sudden closure of the strait could quickly drive up energy prices and affect transportation costs, supply chains, industry, and even food prices. Energy analysts usually see three scenarios for any crisis in this maritime passage. The first scenario is that the tension is temporary and maritime traffic resumes quickly. In this case, prices may rise for a short period before stabilizing. The next scenario assumes that the disruption continues for several weeks, which could push oil prices to levels close to $150 to $200 per barrel, a level that could increase inflationary pressures in advanced economies. It would also raise energy costs for households and businesses in Europe and, of course, in the United States. As for the most dangerous scenario, it is the continued disruption of navigation for several months. In this case, the world could face a major energy shock that may drive prices much higher than that, which could significantly increase the costs of transportation, food, and energy, and put central banks in front of a dilemma, a difficult dilemma. Because rising inflation may force it to keep interest rates high for a longer period, which in turn affects loans, investments, and economic growth. History provides clear examples of the impact of energy shocks. In the 1970s, global oil crises led to a sharp rise in prices and an economic slowdown in many industrialized countries. But those crises also demonstrated the global economy's ability to adapt over time by increasing production in new regions, developing alternative energy sources, and improving consumption efficiency. And despite the gradual shift toward renewable energy and the increase in shale oil production in the United States, the Strait of Hormuz still plays a pivotal role in the global energy market because Gulf countries such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Iraq, and Qatar rely on it to transport a large portion of their exports to global markets. For this reason, any disruption in this maritime passage can quickly extend its impact from the Middle East to gas stations in Europe and America, and even to commodity prices in stores as well. This highlights a fundamental truth about the contemporary global economy. Markets have become interconnected in an unprecedented way, so that a small maritime passage in one part of the world can affect the cost of living, energy, and transportation in distant continents, which makes the stability of trade and energy routes extremely important for the entire global economy. In the end, I look forward to your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to support us by subscribing to the channel and liking the video. See you in the next video. Have a good evening.